but I do have show and tell.
Nice.
And of course it starts with Dave. It starts with Dave. And then I gotta tell you, I'm delighted with the invitation. You all are people who make a difference. This is huge. People who have a passion to make a difference can make a difference. I don't have a ponytail.
Okay, here, I'll take it off.
But I drove through the gate at Offutt Air Force Base in the late 70s where I met my wife, and over the gate it said, "Peace is our profession." And I'm an Air Force guy.
We'll forgive you for that.
Yeah, I'm an Air Force guy, but I'm really a softball guy. So I want to talk about, first let me tell you what this isn't about. This isn't about this. And I gotta tell you, I hate that we have to do this. You all, how many of you got blankets at home? Anything with Wounded Warrior on the front of it has suddenly become tainted by somebody who started out to have a passion for something and then lost control or something. And it's just irritating to people like you all who want to make a difference. We got a volunteer committee of people, local people. The Wounded Warrior Amputee softball team is its own entity. They started working prosthetics with the VA. There's a Wounded Warrior Amputee football team, and these are just a bunch of guys who came out of the most recent conflicts. They got limbs missing, and the VA's working research with them, and they are a delightful group. They're every other weekend somewhere in this country and abroad, they're playing softball. And I got on their list about a year and a half ago. They'd been to Toledo, they'd been to Cincinnati a couple of years. Their demand is very high. They only stay someplace no more than 2 years in a row. Took us a year and a half to get them, and we finally got them. And when I talked with their director, and I said, well, you know, what's a scoop on this? And they got a playbook, and it costs about 15 grand to fly the players in from all around the country. They're just a bunch of guys that they fly in, so we host them. But when I talked with them, it wasn't about us giving them 15 grand. It was about them coming to our town and us using them for our purposes, whatever those were. So like the Bob Childs golf tournament is for the Fisher House. Like Hometown Heroes on 20 May at Fifth Third Field. That's what we're doing. Bunch of guys, the Vietnam Veterans Chapter in Huber Heights, they do Veterans Day at the memorial every year. They were wired with all the right people. I've been going down for a few years. They were wired with all the right people. The VA's on board. We got the RTA on board. The CVB's helping us. We got our money. It's just like falling off a log, as long as people buy raffle tickets, you understand? So we've been selling raffle tickets. The cause is not a problem. The issue was, how do we make a win-win for our community? And the Fisher House is building a new Fisher House out at the Dayton VA. So we met with Chris Stanley, the director of the Fisher House. They led us to the Development Corporation, to the Dayton Foundation. All the money is being funneled through the Dayton Foundation. It is a blast what we're doing. It is a blast. We'll be out at Wright State for 2 games. Now, I went to Fifth Third Field. They did Fifth Third Field up in Toledo. And the guy who ran the event said, we didn't even close to fill the place. Well, they got 12,000 seats. Were you expecting to fill the place? And their tickets were free.
That was the problem.
Fifth Third Field, holy mackerel. Now we went to Eric with the Dragons,
Yeah.
And we said, we'd really like to come to your place.
They had a game that week.
But they were home.
Yeah.
But they were home that weekend. On Friday night, our players and their director will be introduced on the field. We're going to have homers for heroes at Kettering Field, and some of the players will go play in that game. We're going out to Wright State, and we'll have a cruise-in, a static display. We got the Dayton police and the Dayton firefighters and the Fairborn police, and we got Humvees off the base, and we're going to have a static display in the middle of the day. And then we're going to have the Wounded Warrior Amputee softball team salute to Vietnam veterans. And what's happening is there is a long-standing celebration of the 50th year of the Vietnam War. So we're gonna literally take Vietnam veterans around the diamond, and they will receive, at stations around the diamond, they will receive, my show and tell, I needed to get it out earlier. We're going to take them around the diamond, and they'll receive the Vietnam pin and a Vietnam button and a certificate. And they'll be greeted by Dave at first base. At first base for the chapter. We will have a right pat dignitary at second base. At third base, Chris Stanley or his pinch hitter. Chris is actually going to be in a motorcycle event in Columbus early in the morning, so he's coming in later. So Dick Reynolds is probably going to pinch hit for Chris Stanley at third base, and then the director of the Dayton VA, his pinch hitter, because Glenn is going to be in DC for a whole month of May. Dr. Hardy will be at home for the handshake, the thank you, the welcome home, Vietnam veterans. This will happen right after game one. Game one is going to start about 9 o'clock. We're going to have the flag parachuted into the stadium. We were going to have a tandem, we were going to have the George Bush Sr. tandem thing. But apparently you can't do a tandem into a stadium. And if you've been out to Wright State's baseball stadium, oh my goodness, the highway's there and there's power lines and there's no place to line up. But believe it or not, we're meeting with these people from Fast Tracks who do the skydiving about our event, and they volunteered to do this flag drop right into the stadium. Wouldn't you know, he tells me that one of their guys who does flag drops is one of the players on the team. He's from Maine, Pennington. I don't think it was really going to be cool. You won't see it, but it was really going to be cool because he would be in his softball uniform and drop in. We're not going to do that, but we will drop the flag in. We'll have opening ceremonies, we have color guards, and the ceremony on the diamond will start right after game one. That game is against Wright Pat military and first responders. So I got police, we got firefighters, and Hanger Clinic is one of the big prosthetics companies in town. They're going to have uniforms for them. That's game one. Game two is against the Dayton Legends Softball Club, which is a bunch of old, pardon my language, a bunch of old fart softball players who continue to play the game and hurt themselves every time they go out. Every time they go out. That game
screw out of that stuff.
That game will start about 3:30. There's only 800 seats in the stadium. Why am I here? Get your butt in a seat.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm talking about. We only got to sell.
Somebody there.
We got 2 sessions. We are selling the tickets. The fixed seats. There's only 500 fixed seats at Ron Nishwood Stadium. They're $20. They're going to set up temps for us on the mezzanine level. They're $10. Why am I here? I hope you'll get the word out that this will be a fun Armed Forces Day. That's our goal. The team On Friday, we'll fly in. They'll be at the Dayton VA at 1 o'clock. They'll be at Hanger Clinic about 2:30, and they'll be at Children's about 3:30 or 4. Then, we're going to host them to supper, and it should be a great Armed Forces Day. We hope to make this a standing event. The team won't come every year, but every year on Hometown Heroes Day, the softball community wants to have fun with it. And peace is our profession. And I gotta give it to all you. You really make a difference in this community. Big deal. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll let you know right now, the community is stepping up. I mean, we've been all over the place. People are, I've had people walk up to me, hand me $20 and say, here, hope this helps. Had one guy apologize to me for giving me $100. I looked at him, I said, why apologize? I said, if I talked to 150 people today and they all gave me $100, where would I be?
Las Vegas.
I was going to say Hawaii.
The corporate sponsors have really done well. Kroger gave us some money, Edelman Financial. That money is really being distributed to the Veteran Service Commissions, and they're being given tickets for people to be bussed in. We just said to the commission, if you'll bring your veterans out, we'll give them free tickets. This is it's not a hard sell. Like some sells are probably pretty hard. This is not a hard sell in this town. And we got peace in this town. So it's all good.
Like I said, some of these corporate sponsors, they give us $100 donation. We take that $100 and we're gonna buy tickets with it and give them to vets to get into. So some vets around here can't afford a ticket. Let's face it.
That's great.
So we're gonna.
If your club wants to buy tickets and give them to members, spread the word.
Got any Vietnam vets in here?
You're going to see banners, and you may have seen stuff already in the news, in the neighborhood section. And I'm thinking there's going to be an investigative report on this. I'm pretty sure. Am I right? I rest my case. Thank you very much.
Thank you.